my very first photo shoot was the most awkward experience in my life.
Hey everybody, Parker York Smith here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I am here with my good friend Travis. You may know him as Trav White. If you don't follow him on Instagram already, you should be. He absolutely kills it on his content. He's got a ton of amazing business advice as well. Today we're talking about posing for your photos and how it can not only make you a better photographer, but also just really boost your confidence as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just as with anything in life, posing is something that is a learned skill. It's a muscle that you have to practice and flex to gain strength. I remember my very first shoot was super awkward. I had no idea what to do. Thankfully, it was with a really great photographer, which we will talk about later, and they were able to kind of guide me and actually turn out something halfway decent.
I think the best thing to do is just dive right into it. And as I've practiced posing over the years, done hundreds, if not thousands of photo shoots, I've kind of come up with like 5 things that can really help you, even if you're an amateur, to take your posing and confidence to the next level. Tip number 1, and I want to start here because it's most important, is every time you hear the shutter click on the camera, to change something.
Tiniest little movement of your face, or change your body posture a little bit, or put your hand in your pocket for this shot and then take it out for the next shot. Just always be moving, trying new things, because honestly, until you get more experienced, you're not gonna have any idea what looks good in camera, because what looks good to the photographer may be completely different from what looks good in real life.
You don't want 100 shots of you doing the exact same thing.
No.
You need variation. If you have an experienced photographer, or even not an experienced photographer, simply just having them snap over and over and over again, and having you just move here, then look down, then look up, then look right, then look left. These are all things that you may feel awkward doing it, but it's not going to look awkward on camera.
Tip number 2, we kind of alluded to already, but you definitely want to make sure that you have a great chemistry with your photographer. Making sure that they are able to guide you and help you, or you're able to kind of be clear with them what you're expecting or what works best for you is extremely important. You don't want to have it be awkward, because it's going to translate in the photos. You're going to be able to tell that you were self-conscious about what they were thinking of you, or if you were doing the right thing.
I think one of the most awkward experiences I had was I shot with a brand new photographer. I found them on Instagram. I was like, hey, would you like to, do a test shoot and see how things go? And they were silent. If there was just that one level up of chemistry, that photographer could have brought out more laughs. They could have brought out different emotions.
Yes.
One of the best things you can actually do is like shoot with a friend or another influencer that you're collaborating with. Once you guys have a relationship established, you might have some inside jokes. Having that chemistry really brings out the candid shots.
One more thing with that, there's going to be bad shots. We have each had our photo taken probably 1,000,000 times, legitimately, and there are 95% bad ones to the 5% that you see us posting. So don't be self-conscious because there's a couple of ones where your face was awkward, or you were in the middle of moving and they caught a shot. Don't let that get into your head and make you feel like you're not doing a good job, because that happens to everybody. It's not a bad thing that every single exposure isn't perfect.
Tip number 3 is to utilize your accessories or whatever you're wearing in order to give your hands something to do. One of the biggest mistakes I see, and I made this too when I first started, was not knowing what to do with my hands. Do I put them in my pockets? Do I keep them here? Yeah. So this is one thing I like to do. If you go to my Instagram page, you can see me doing this all the time, is I'm flipping my coat jacket. Like, I literally will stand there and just flip my jacket over and over again while the photographer snaps pictures. Utilizing everything that you're wearing or carrying just to give your hands something to do will go a long way in looking authentic and not too posed.
Tip number 4, something that you've probably heard before, you've got to know your angles. It is hugely important to understand that different faces, different body types, different people look better photographed, positioned differently. So 45 degrees turned a little bit is going to look much better than straight on. I always joke that when you're straight onto the camera, sometimes you just look like you're a thumb with a face on it, because it's just straight up and down, whereas giving yourself a little bit more dimension, that's just going to make your face look that much more attractive, that much more interesting.
Piggybacking off of point number 1 of just changing something every time the camera shutter clicks, you'll start to see which angles are your good angles. For example, if you look really closely, it may be hard to see on camera, I actually have like lopsided eyes, right? So it's like just slightly angular, it's not straight. So when I turn this way, this is actually my bad side because my eyes like a little, I know I'm nitpicking myself, I'm my own worst critic, whatever.
We all are.
We all, yeah. I tend to turn my head this way. I just found out that it photographs better. Once you find out those angles, again, another thing you can throw in your back pocket, and when the photographer starts shooting, you can lean into your strengths there. Tip number 5, do a real life action that you would normally do if the photographer wasn't there. So the goal of every photo shoot is not to make it look like a photo shoot, right? You want it to make it look like the photographer was hiding out somewhere and just happened to catch you walking about your day. If you're going for that lifestyle, candid, confident, man about town look, then that's what you need to be doing.
It's always just more interesting to your audience. It looks more dynamic, just a lot more fun to create photos that look like a slice of life. So there are a few tips for you guys. I hope this is helpful. So one thing that we realized while we were out here shooting this is that we get a lot of questions from people asking how they can be more comfortable shooting out in public, because it can be a little weird. People might heckle you, you're just gonna feel a little bit awkward, but at the end of the day, we both agreed it's just kind of a muscle. You gotta flex it, it's gonna get more comfortable after a while.
If you're not comfortable doing it, it is something you can get more comfortable with as you go, but if it's one of those things where you don't like the spotlight, then building a personal brand might not be the right career path for you, because if you're trying to grow a personal brand, whether that be on YouTube or on Instagram, yeah, you're gonna be the person either having the selfie camera or with photographers following you or somebody filming all the time. There's just going to be that attention-seeking kind of magnet, and people are always going to look. Those little brush-ups with the anxiety you might have with it, you'll start to build an immunity to it, and you won't care after a while.
Right. And you're gonna get an amazing piece of content. Be focused on that. Don't be worried about what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. I feel like we're beating a dead horse here now. You get it.
You get it. We're done.
Yeah.
You know, like we said, each of us have a ton of experience. We've been doing this for years and years, so do not expect yourself to go out there and try it once and be a master. And also, don't be too caught up in the fact that you don't look like a runway model in all of your photos. Being you and being authentic to yourself and what looks best for you in your own opinion is going to boost your confidence and make you feel better about yourself. And ultimately, that's really what it's all about in the end, is you feeling your best. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can hit us up on Instagram.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.